Jack Connor interviews Collective Shout. Well, that must have been a very smelly room. As censorship effort ramps up. So take it away, Helzo.
I stumbled upon this because we are actually in the midst of someone directly speaking to that whole group and getting a lot of answers. One thing that I'm going to say from reading all of this and actually trying to determine if I actually progressed through the interview or I was just stuck in the same place for some reason, because if nothing else, I would give Collective Shout one small prop. They're consistent in their bullshit. They're absolutely, they don't fold. They don't go, yeah, I was doing that, but it's actually, I'm not doing that. I don't care about it. They are consistent in their bullshit. So we have a TLDR actually from Jack Connor. This is from Tweaktown. So he says, TLDR, Collective Shout's campaign led payment processors Visa and MasterCard to pressure Steam into removing adult games depicting sexual violence against women, highlighting ethical concerns over glorifying abuse. This shift enforces stricter content policies aiming to protect women from harmful media while sparking debate on censorship and platform responsibility. Before we continue, I just want to point out that the games that they're talking about were extremely niche. They were never ever popular in almost any capacity. Like they did exist, but they weren't like bestsellers or anything by a long shot. And what made them famous was actually the attempts to block them and the successful attempts to block them. So thank you for popularizing something that you want to remove. We continue. Nobody has a human right to simulate and enact fantasies of rape and extreme violence against women. This is the whole trope that is going on throughout the entire interview, by the way. This is the main, like, you're going to see a lot of it when we go through it. If you go to the article as well. One Caitlin Roper, the campaigns manager at Collective Shout, explained in a recent email interview, not being able to access rape games from popular gaming platforms is a minor inconvenience, not a violation of a person's rights. Payment processors get to determine if they do not want to host illegal content, including rape, sexual violence, incest, child sexual abuse, and exploitation, and shit. And just to say for YouTube, this is a public article, and I'm just reading off of it. So whatever words I say, they are already written in a public domain, freely accessible. So,
Helzo, imagine Game of Thrones made today. Every season would be season 8.
Yes, every season would be the bloopers from season 8.
But remember, it's Daenerys' turn, just like it was Hillary Clinton's turn.
Oh god.
Yeah. I'm going to give away to the panelists. I think we could start with Jace here on this. This is TLDR, but trust me, it basically explains everything that is going on through the interview. What were you saying?
What bothers me about this whole Collective Shout situation is the fact that for people that I know you said, at least, given props are consistent, but I have to sort of be the dissenting opinion on consistency, because if they had consistency, they would come after Roblox. If they had consistency, they would go after Take Us North, a game about smuggling people to the USA, when they know that one of the things that's smuggled in this country are primarily women for the purpose of human trafficking. But they don't want to have that discussion. It's like, it seems to me like they don't want to go after anything that actually does hurt the people that they claim that they're trying to protect. They only want to go after, like you said, small developers. And the reason that there's this almost war on independent developers, whether you agree with their, the questionability of the content or not, is because of the fact that if small, everybody was a small developer at some point. AAA wants to create a glass ceiling. AAA is awful. It is inundated with the woke mind virus. They can't allow these larger independent developers to basically come up, in any capacity. So, some of the games might be controversial. Yeah, you know what? Grand Theft Auto was controversial when it was new. All right. So these people are trying to, let's bully Visa and MasterCard, not take money, to purchase these games. It's ridiculous. But again, where's Collective Shout to talk about Roblox? Where are they to talk about anything controversial that is sort of, borderline on that note? I mean, there are games where there was one game a couple of years ago that was an independent game where you play as a trans person and kill MAGA supporters. All right. They didn't go after that, but that's calling for real world violence that we're seeing reflected in the real world when we see things like we saw last week in Minnesota, where there was a shooter of a certain group of people that took out people of a certain religion. But they don't talk about that. Collective Shout are insanely hypocritical, and it seems like their only purpose is to go after specific games, specific companies, specific people, specific groups on the internet that are talking that they don't like what they have to say, and shut us down, shut people like us down. And so again, it all boils back to, follow the money, which, when we go back to that boring, dry topic, follow the money. Who's bankrolling Collective Shout at the end of the day? That's what we need to be, focused on. But these people, I mean, they're not going to stop because they're just sort of the sweet baby. They're the big bad of the year 2025. Last year was Sweet Baby. This year it's Collective Shout. Next year it'll be some other psychotic activist organization trying to come to censor us on the internet, to shut down the games we play, to go after everything that they can that they don't like, and force us to consume the slop. Well, here's the thing. At the end of the day, no matter what a Collective Shout does, you will never force us to consume the slop, all right? Because we have this thing called free will. And I know that's a problem for Collective Shout and a lot of these other companies, but that's you know what? There's two words I can say to that, and that's tough shit.
Well, Helzo makes a great point. In regards to the TLDR, it really boils down this whole interview, because who wants to spend nearly 11 minutes reading? That would actually be a very good clip for a video, getting Furious Dan to read this whole article. But Jose
I think if I read the whole article, it will just piss me off even more than
exactly.
It did piss me off. I would just want to, before we continue, I would just want to say something to Jose. That's why I emphasize they're consistent in their bullshit.
Yeah,
they're not consistent in anything else, because this thing, and this thing is everything that has been answered to every question that Jack Connor says. This is the trope. They stuck to the trope, so they're consistent in the bullshit. But I absolutely agree with everything that you said on the topic. But let's move on.
Oh, I was gonna say real quick on that though, Helzo. The thing that's sad about that answer is it's a mantra for normies, for people who don't do their homework. And that's why it's so important that we have these conversations on shows like this, because a lot of people will just take them at face value and assume that every game just has what they say.
Well, I think that the normies need to change. The definition of a normie needs to change, or the normies need to go away. I mean,
plugged in.
We need to remove normies, and we need to make everyone more than a normie, in my opinion.
Exactly.
They're the plugged. There's a new name for a normie. Someone who's plugged.
Yeah, absolutely correct.
Absolutely,
I would agree with that notion, because you do have it's not exactly brainwashed, but unaware of the truth that is going on in the world.
And that could be even more dangerous.
Well,
just be completely unaware about it, the whole thing.
Well, Jose made another great point about how the opposition are adapting, it seems, year on year with, the latest witch to burn, for lack of a better statement. And that's why it's very important for content creators and creator communities to constantly adapt, evolve, improve, bring new people in, get established creators to start their own groups and to continue expanding. And that's what the network is all about, folks. And that's our effort, because the 3 steps to victory do work. Highlight the problem, find solutions, be the change you want to see. And the plus side of all of that is the people who host the show get nice donations, like Dash.
This one. Thank you, Dash, or as I see it, Rasengan 9000 TTT. Because
I don't know. I don't know why he has that as his
you can easily go in there and change your at handle.
Yeah, I mean that Dash attack has not been taken. It hasn't.
I think it's just because of people like me who were marked by YouTube to see the ads and be perpetually confused. But thank you for the two saying 18+ games can no longer be early access on Steam. Yep. And we're talking about all 18+ games, by the way. We're not talking about what Collective Shout is trying to shove down our throats. We're talking about adult games. And like it or not, adult games exist. Adult games are a thing. There are adults that like to play adult games. You might not like them. You might not enjoy them. You might not even like people who enjoy them. But they're a perfectly legal thing to have, to develop, to own. We have played a lot of games, and I heard Grand Theft Auto and a lot of other games. We had Postal, Carmageddon in the days before that are much, much worse than what we have now. And they're perfectly legal. Now, why? Because people actually had the common sense to know what they're playing and to not be influenced by what they're playing in the real life, despite what the fucking media is telling you for over 30 years now, ever since video games actually started being more of a thing. And on that note, thank you, Roadkill, for another 5 taxes. These are love my taxes that I'm gonna pay. Thank you for covering my taxes, Roadkill. Amazing. I actually now realize that I'm actually hiding you with your own donation.
Pay your goddamn tax.
Helzo, I just want to make it clear. I love it when Americans pay tax to Europeans, just like old times.
But you gotta understand one thing, bro, because you did this shit wrong. You should have paid him in taco money.
You know, Dan, I think you're a poor because you're not matching Roadkill's donations.
What do you expect? What the?
I mean, I'm a poor.
So donate another $4.99. It's for
I don't
the
know
cause.
what you're talking about. We have a flat tax here. It's the same everywhere. So I'm perfectly amazed when I see and when I read that taxes in the same country in different states or even different cities is different. And it's perpetually confusing to me. How can anyone function even remotely normally with that thing?
I remember when my country burned itself to the ground over proposing a flat tax. And
well,
we didn't have a country.
It's an inside joke between Ryan and I, because Ryan one time made the joke that, you know, even if you're nobody, you can just pay your way onto the show. So I was like,
that is actually sound advice for anyone who's thinking of being a content creator.
And I didn't mean to. I was just a donator and supporter, and then they were like, "You want to come on?" I was like,
Digny's
sure.
about to get the call.
A call from my operations manager. Don't tell them the secrets. Damn.
All right.
Tangent King.